Do you hear what I hear? Those are the words from a Christmas song. And I wonder what you hear today. Maybe you hear rain in the background. It is raining outside. I didn't want to record this outside, so I brought sound effects in. But I don't hear the rain so much as I hear bells. And I say that because of a song, a poem, that goes like this. I heard the bells on Christmas Day. I heard what I would say the hope of the message of Christmas on Christmas Day. Now that Christmas Day was not the prettiest day, just like today might not be the prettiest day for you. A lot of storms happening right now, not just outside, but storms in our life. We kind of consider this year as being a year of storms, a year that has been just upsetting. That we've gone through a lot of different things personally, a lot of things as a nation, and we're in a storm. Yet, I can hear the bells of Christmas. I can hear the hope of Christmas. I'd like to share a story with you of the man who wrote that poem. It's Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And there were a lot of storms in Wadsworth Longfellow's life. There were a lot of things happening. One was the loss of his wife. An incredible devastation. We know what it's like to lose a loved one. And he lost his wife, and not only did he lose her, but he was there as the accident. She was burned on accident. Her dress caught on fire. He tried to save her. He was unable to do that. What a burden. What a depressing time. And you know, Christmas wasn't the same for Henry Wadsworth Longfellow after that. He even said, Christmas, he said, the children say Merry Christmas, but not for me, was written in some of his journals. The world at that time was also in a crazy place, much like us. The Civil War broke out. Neighbors were against neighbors, countrymen against countrymen. There were opinions all over the place. There was a lot of division, a lot of hatred, a lot of people affected, a lot of lives lost. It was a very scary time for the nation. It was a time when people were just in the midst of a storm. And that affected Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He went into what we would call depression. He was devastated by these things. And then his son went off to war. You know what it's like to have your loved one in danger. Even if you feel they're for the right cause, it's a scary place. And these things had Henry Wadsworth Longfellow down. His son was sick at one time from the fighting, and he came home, went back, and then he was wounded, shot, and temporarily paralyzed. Longfellow didn't know if he would ever walk again. And as he was with his son that Christmas in 1863, he wrote the words to Christmas Bells, or what we know as I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. A lot of storms. He says, but I heard the bells, the message, the hope of Christmas. In this poem, some of the stanzas that we don't always see in our hymn, he said that he had heard the thundering of the cannons. He heard the sound of war. He saw the devastation, he said, of his nation being ripped apart. He saw people with hatred for each other. And he said, there is no peace on earth. I looked and I didn't see peace. But then he heard the bells in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the war, in the midst of the uneasiness. He heard the bells. What were the bells? It was the message of hope. Hope for a Christian is not just a wish. It's not just, I hope things get better. It's the confidence that God will bring what he said he would bring. That God will do what he said he would do. That God would restore as he said he would restore. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. Do we see it right this moment? Well, we see a lot of storms still, but I don't know about you. I can hear the bells. I know that He is the Redeemer. I know the message of Christmas. It's my hope, not my wish. It's my hope. I trust God's going to do what He said. There's another man I'd like to share with you just real quickly, and his name was Stephen. Stephen also lived in a world full of storms. In the New Testament, we're told that even his church, as he served, was in turmoil. The widows arguing with each other, people disagreeing about who was getting the right amount of food and distribution. He also faced a world of people that were hostile to him as he tried to share the message of hope, the message of restoration. In fact, they were so hostile to him that they made up charges against him, and they took him out. And as he pleaded with them, and as he tried to share with them the message of Christmas, they began to kill him. It says that they yelled, and I think of that is so funny, that the idea that they wouldn't even listen to him. The noise that Stephen heard must have been intense as they yelled and as they were ready to kill him, and then they began to kill him, and they did kill him. And yet Stephen looked up and he said, I see the Son of Man. I see the hope. Maybe he could have said, I hear the bells on Christmas Day. I pray today that you would hear the bells. I know there's a storm raging. I know there's a lot of things going on in your life. I know there's a lot of things going on in our nation. I know there's a lot of things going on in our church. And we're hurting, and we are in the midst of these things. The Bible talks about this life, and it says that we groan and long for that hope. That He said, I will make things right. I will restore you. Trust me. Can you hear the bells today? The Apostle Paul said, we're pressed in on every side. We're like sheep led to be slaughtered. He said, but we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. We are more than conquerors. Today, let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher, hope in the midst of the storm. I pray that you hear the bells this Christmas season. God bless.